go to Representative Shoemaker, I did want to see what excuse me, I don't know if I've elevated you or not. Professor Mitchell might want to add.
It's a compliment.
We'll come back to Ken. I want to hear from you.
All right. Well, Donna has really covered most of the issues that I would like to address. I think, first of all, I would say that the real question here today is whether the state of Michigan should compensate those individuals who can prove in a court of law that they're factually innocent. And that is a very narrow category of individuals. So even though we have been successful through our project in exonerating 2 individuals, and to our knowledge prior to that, just prior to our statute was in effect, but Eddie Joe Lloyd, who's now deceased, who died shortly after his release, after his exoneration, this bill still requires those individuals to go to court and meet the elements outlined in this statute. The other thing that's really important for the committee to keep in mind is the immediacy, the immediate need of these individuals. It is not going to help them 6 months later, 1 year later, 2 years later. More than likely, if they have to go to federal court, 4 or 5 or 6 years later. They need immediate financial assistance. And that is just critical. And there's nothing else that can cover this but this bill. This bill is so critically needed. Nationally, we know that an individual that would fall under this statute could be young, could be old, could be Hispanic, black, white. He could be middle class or he could be poor. He could be a lawyer's son. There's a lawyer's son that's been exonerated in this country. He could be a millwright, and he could be a police officer. He could most certainly be someone's son or father. What has this individual gone through? This person who some years after his conviction he's released, and Donna went into most of that. But besides the fact that this individual spent time in prison wrongfully, he's lost his employment opportunities, he's lost his family, and he's also gained a fair amount of psychological wear and tear, because it's not just that he was in a prison system, which is not always ideal, but he was in a prison system wrongfully. And I can't even imagine that. I can't even imagine. When I had lunch with Ken yesterday, he was talking about some good news, and I just kept looking at him thinking, I can't believe, I can't imagine what he has gone through. When Ken Wynemko and Nathaniel Hatchett were released from prison, they received nothing. Less than those individuals who are paroled in our state. Now is the time for Michigan to join, I believe, 25 states now, and the District of Columbia, in providing compensation for those who have been wrongfully convicted. What that compensation is matters. The law has to be just, and it has to have integrity. This proposed bill does both. It provides monetary compensation, it provides health care benefits, which is absolutely essential, and it provides mental health services. 3 men have been exonerated by DNA testing in Michigan since 2001. Eddie Joe Lloyd, who was in prison for over 17 years and is now deceased. My client and friend, Ken Wynemko, and Mr. Nathaniel Hatchett that Donna referred to in her testimony. Nathaniel spent 12 years in prison. Since 2001, our project has screened over 4,000 cases, and we've secured the release of 2 men. Ken Wynemko and Nathaniel Hatchett should be justly compensated for their wrongful convictions, as should any Michigan citizen who has lost so much. There are solutions to the shortcomings of our criminal justice system. But today, I ask that you right a wrong and support this bill that provides adequate and just compensation until there is no need for this type of compensation. Thank you very much.